Welcome to the world of factorization. We have finished word problems. Now we are into factorization. And I was able to carefully select topics that are needed that you should know at this level on factorization. The first of them is the knowledge you need to be able to be removing brackets. And that was why you see removing brackets. It's just the techniques you must know when it comes or when you come in contact with brackets. The first question is saying that we should simplify 3 into n plus 9. Into means 3 brackets n plus 9. 3 outside the bracket, while n plus 9 inside the bracket. In case you have this kind of a thing, what do? What you do is hold it in your mind or know it in your mind that 3 is multiplying all the things inside the bracket. First of all, 3 is multiplying n. 3 times n will give you 3n. Then 3 times plus 9 will give you plus whatever 9 times 3 is. And you know that 9 times 3 is 27. You have removed the bracket. This figure now, 3n plus 27 is the meaning of 3 into brackets n plus 9. The second question is this. They say we should evaluate inside bracket minus 3p plus q. Bracket closes. Outside the bracket, you see 4. This is just the other way. The first one we did, we had a figure before the bracket. Now we are having it behind the bracket. They're just trying to confuse you. They all mean the same thing. What you have inside the bracket can be rewritten as q minus 3p instead of minus 3p plus q. What I mean is this. Minus 3p plus q is the same thing as q minus 3p. You also put 4 outside the bracket. This and this means the same thing. Now if you have this, just like the first question we solved, 4 times q will give you 4q. 4 times minus 3p will give you minus 4 times 3 is 12. Then bring p. That is the meaning of, if you're asked to evaluate, at times they will use simplify. They can even say solve. Whatever language they use is insignificant. What is important is the idea I am offloading into your brain on how to handle brackets. This is another form you can get questions involving brackets. This one said minus 9 outside the bracket into minus 2k minus 3r. Minus 9 times minus 2k will give you plus first. I know I wrote it plus because minus times minus is plus. Then 9 times 2 will give you 18. So put 18k. Again, minus times minus is another plus. 9 times 3 is 27. That means you have 27r. Plus 18k plus 27r. It's something as 18k plus 27r. You can also write it to be 27r plus 18k. Writing 27 before 18k. They will all mean the same thing. This says simplify x into x plus 2. X times x will give you x squared. Anything times him or herself is that thing squared. X times plus 2 will give you plus 2x. That is the meaning of this one. This one we have, they just want to confuse you by enclosing the 6 in a bracket. Otherwise, it could have been minus 7s plus t. Inside bracket, outside you have 6. They just enclose it so it will look more elaborate or look more complex, so that they will know if you will be confused. Whether there is this bracket or not, this 6 is just multiplying the things you have inside the bracket. How? 6 times minus 7. 6 times 7. First of all, 6 times minus 7 will give you minus. And 6 times 7 is 42. You can use a calculator to confirm it. That means you have 42s. Then 6 times t plus will give you 6t. This is something as having 6t minus 42s. That is the meaning of this. And removing these brackets, this is what we get as the answer. Simplify 3a minus 4b in brackets, 3b outside the bracket. 3b times 3a is going to give you, first of all, 3 times 3 is 9. A times b will give you ab. 3b times minus 4b will give you minus, because 3 times plus 3 times minus is minus. 3 times 4 is 12. B times b will give you b squared. Evaluate 2 pi r into r plus h. 2 pi r times r will give you 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r times h will give you 2 pi r h. That's all. Now we are into finding the highest common factor, otherwise known as HCF. Highest common factor, those things that can divide a group of other things, and the highest among them. For instance, we have 6x and 15y. We are asked to find their highest common factor. First of all, you're going to split both 6x and 15y into their factors. First of all, let's take 6x. 2 is a factor. 3 is a factor. And x. Let's take 15. That's 15y. There is no 2 as a factor of 15. So we have 3. After 3 we have 5. Then y. Now you are going to find only those things you have in common. Only those factors you have in common that you can find here, and you also find it here. If you look very closely, it is 3 that is common in both the factors of 6x and factors of 15y. That means the highest common factor, HCF, of those numbers, 6x and 15y, is 3. Find the HCF of 12a and 8a squared. Just like the first one we did, break them down into their factors. 12a, let's first of all take 2. If 2 should divide 12a, you have 6a left. Let's still take 2 again, because 2 can still divide 6a. 2 divide 6a will leave you with 3a. The next one we're going to take is 3. 3 divides 3a will give you, we cancel the 3 and left with a. So that means 2 times 2 times 2, times 3 times a will give you 12a. How? 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Then 12 times a will give you 12a. Let's take 8. Split 8a squared into its factors. 2 is there. 2 divide this, you will be left with 4a squared. Another 2 can divide 4a squared. You'll be left with 2a squared. That means another 2, you'll be now be left with a squared. A times a. That means 2 times 2 times 2 times a is 8a squared. How? 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times a is 8a. 8a times a will give you 8a squared. Now find the common factors. There is 2 here, there is 2 here. Bring down one of the 2. That means 2 is common here and here. There's another 2. This and this. So bring it down another 2. Here you have 3 and you have 2. None of them is common. Leave it alone. You have one a here and one a here. So you have another a being common. That means the HCF of 12a and 8a squared is 2 times 2, 4 times a, which will give you 4a. That is the highest common factor among the 2 numbers. This is the next question. They say we should find the HCF of 10a x squared and 14a squared x. First of all, take 10 ax squared and split it into its factors. First of all, let's take 10. 2 can divide 10. We will leave with 5. Take 5. Then take a. The factors of x squared are x and x. That means 2 times 5 times a times x is giving us 10ax squared. Let's take the next number. 14a squared x. Giving us 2 can divide 14, we'll be left with 7. 7 and 1 is the only factor 7 has. So bring down the 7 times a squared is a 2 places. Then you have 1x left. 2 times 7 times a times x will give you 14a squared x. Now look into their common factor. You have 2 here, you have 2 here. Bring down 1, 2. Times, you have 5 and 7, they are not common. You have a, bring down 1a. X and a are not common. The next is x and x. So bring down 1x. 2 times a times x will give you 2ax. And that is the HCF, highest common factor of 10a x squared and 14a squared x. Now we want to know how to factorize binomial expressions. Don't be scared by the big grammar. A binomial expression is an expression that has 2 terms. Just like you have 5a plus 5z. This is a binomial expression. And if you are to factorize it, factorizing it is splitting it into the product of its factors or product of their factors. Make them to appear as if you are multiplying their factors to give them. That is what it means by factorizing the binomial expressions. Those binomial expressions, write them in such a way they will be the product of their factors. That's what it means. Just as we have 5a and 5z. 5a and 5z, if you are to factorize it, first of all, bring out 5a. This is the same thing as 5 times a. 5z is the same thing as 5 times z. Then if you want to write them as a factor, the product of their factors, look at what I'm going to do. You have 5 being common in both of them. Bring out the 5 and put a bracket. Write a plus z. 5 into a plus z is the product expression of the factors of 5a plus 5z. If you want to get back 5a plus 5z, just remove the bracket, just as we learned when we were learning how to remove brackets. If you say 5 times a, you have 5a. 5 times plus z, it will give you plus 5z. So when you have expressed this binomial expression into 5 into a plus z, you have factorized it because you have placed it in a form of the product of their factors. Factorize ab squared minus a squared b. A and a. First of all, let's split them into their factors. You have ab squared. This is equal to a times b times b. Then let's split a squared b. A squared b means a times b. Now take what you have in common. Now we have a1a in both of them. So bring out the 1a. You also have 1b common in both of them. Remember there's b here, but there's no b here. There's a here, there's no a here. So we're taking the ones that are common. So bring down b. Put your brackets. If you have removed ab from ab squared, b will be left. So put the b inside the bracket. Bring down minus. If you remove ab from a squared b, you'll be left with a. So ab into b minus a becomes the factorization of a b squared minus a squared b. If you multiply out by removing the bracket, you get back ab squared minus a squared b. Factorize a squared, 10a x squared plus 14a squared x. Split them into their factors. First of all, let's take 10a x squared. This will give us 2 times 5, splitting 10. Then times a. We have only one a there, but x squared, that is x times x. The next one is 14. 14a squared x is the same thing as 2 times 7. That is split is 14 times a squared is a times a. Then times x. Now pick the things that are common. 2 and 2 are common. Pick 1, 2 times a and a are common. Pick 1a. X and x are common. Pick 1x. So we have 2ax. Now this thing that you have in common, put it outside the bracket. 2ax. And begin to divide the terms with the common factor they have. 2 divides 10, we give you 5. A, we cancel A. 1x, we cancel only 1x, you'll be left with x. Bring down the sign of plus. 2 divides 14, we leave you with 7. A divide a squared, we leave you with 1a. X divide x, it will go. That means 2ax into 5x plus 7a becomes the factorization of 10x squared plus 14a squared x. This is the last example I am taking to explain to you how to factorize binomial expressions, expressions that have 2 terms. This says pi r squared plus pi rs. We are asked to factorize it. Let's split them into their factors. Pi r squared is something as pi times r times r. The other one is pi rs. Splitting it into its factors, or making it a product of its factors. You have pi times r times s. What do you have in common? Pi and r. So bring it out. Pi r. Put your bracket. Begin to divide the terms you have in the binomial expression with the common factor. Pi r dividing pi r squared, you'll be left with r. Bring plus, this plus. Pi r dividing pi r s, you'll be left with s. The factorization of this binomial expression, pi r squared plus pi r s, is pi r, bracket, r plus s, bracket closes. We are now into factorizing larger expressions. There's just one thing that you could not be doing in this concept. It may not be easy for you to be bringing out the terms, because now we have graduated from binomial expressions to larger expressions. Expressions that have more than 2 terms. So you can't be bringing out the terms and be splitting them into their factors. So watch closely the way you should go about factorizing large expressions. If you have factorized 2a minus a into 3x plus y, first of all, remove the bracket. If you're removing the brackets, you'll be left with 2a, this 2a. Minus a will be multiplying everything inside the bracket if you must remove the bracket. Minus a times 3x will give you minus 3ax. Minus a times plus y will give you minus ay. I have a friend whose name is ay. Ay, you're not the one I'm calling on. Now you have 2a minus 3as minus ay. What factors do they have in common? The 1, 2, 3 terms. If you look closely, you discover that they have a. There's a in 2a, there is a in 3as, and there is a in ay. Apart from a, there's nothing again they have in common. So bring out the a. Begin to divide the terms differently with a. 2a divided by a, 2 will be left. Minus 3ax divided by a, minus 3x we left. That means a, we cancel a. You'll be left with minus 3x. Just like a, cancelling a into a, you'll be left with 2. A dividing ay, that's minus ay, you have minus y. Because the a, we cancel the a you have in minus ay and leave you with minus y. That means a into 2 minus 3x minus y becomes the factorization of 2a minus a into 3x plus y. You can see this type of expression. They say we should factorize a into m plus 1, bracket closes, plus b into m plus 1, bracket closes. You can find out that you have the same term inside the brackets, and that is the only thing that is common in the two terms, a into m plus 1 and b into m plus 1. So I'm going to take that thing you have inside the bracket. That is to tell you that if what you have inside bracket is the only thing that is common, you take it out. If you divide a into m plus 1 with m plus 1, a will be left. If you also divide b into m plus 1 with m plus 1, what will be left with here is b. That means the factorization of that expression, a into m plus 1 plus b into m plus 1, becomes m plus 1 into a plus b. This is another large expression we are about to factorize, just like the former question, which is question number 2. What you have in common in the two terms is what you have inside the brackets. N plus 2 is existing here, and also n plus 2 is existing here. So bring n plus 2, because that is what they have in common. Into, divide a times n plus 2 with n plus 2. N plus 2 will cancel n plus 2 and leave you behind with a. Bring down minus n plus 2 dividing b into n plus 2. N plus 2 will cancel n plus 2 and leave you with b. This becomes the factorization of that expression. If you have m into u minus v, bracket closes plus m squared. If you look closely, what you have here is, or what you have in common here is m in this side and 1 m here. But to get it clearer and better, remove this bracket. Use m to multiply all you have inside the bracket. You're going to have m times u will give you mu. M times minus v will give you minus mv. Then bring down plus m squared. This expression is clearer here and better for factorization in this form. Now go into it. You can see that in the three terms, what you have in common is m. Just one m. Take it out and open a bracket. You begin to use m to divide the terms one after the other. M dividing mu. M will cancel m and leave you behind with u. So bring the u inside the bracket. M dividing minus mv. M will cancel m and leave you with minus v. Put minus v. M dividing m squared. M will cancel one out of the two m that multiply themselves to give m squared. And will leave you with plus 1m. This is the factorization. You have finished factorizing. That means the factorization of m into u minus v plus m squared is m into u minus v plus m. The expressions are getting larger and larger. Look at this factorization problem they gave us. Now they say factorize a into 3u minus v plus a into u plus 2v. The first thing we do here is we remove brackets so that we'll be able to get the terms more together, so that we'll be able to find out what they have as common factor. If you're removing the first bracket, a times 3u, we'll be left with 3au. A times minus V will give you minus AV. Bring the plus. A times U is AU. A times plus 2V will give you plus 2AV. You can see that it is easier to find out what they have in common. Better off. There is A here, there is A here, there is A here, there is A here. Bring out one A. A is common in the 4 terms. What again do you have in common? Nothing. So it's only A that is common in the 4 terms. Now begin to use A to divide the 4 terms one after the other. Put a bracket. A dividing 3AU. A will cancel A and you'll be left with 3U. So bring in 3U. A dividing minus AV. Whatever you may get will be minus. That means A will cancel A and leave you with V. Plus A dividing AU. A will cancel A and leave you with U. Is it not funny? Leave you with U. Okay. A dividing the last, which is 2AV. A will cancel A. You'll be left with 2V. So you have plus 2V. That is the factorization of that very long explanation. The assignment I will always give you is go back and remove the bracket with the idea that I gave to you when we were removing brackets. Use A and multiply out what you have inside this bracket. You're going to find out that you always have the original expression. That is your assignment. Now you have A into 3U minus V plus U plus 2V. You can simplify what you have inside the bracket. 2V minus V will leave you with 1V. A is returned outside. First of all, 3U plus 1U will give you 4U. Then minus V plus 2V. It is something as 2V minus V, which will give you plus V left. That means the final stage of factorization of this expression becomes A into 4U plus V. This is another expression that we are asked to factorize. Now look at this. Inside the bracket, what you have inside the 2 brackets are common. You could factorize this by simply taking out what you have in the bracket outside and bringing inside the bracket 2D minus 3E. If you don't want it like that, you can go ahead and remove brackets so that you have the terms clearly stated and take their common factors. At the end of the day, you discover that you still get the same thing as when you have just picked what you have inside the brackets that are common and bring it to D and minus 3E. What I mean is this. Factorizing this could have also been 3M minus 4N. What I have inside the bracket, then into what I have outside the bracket, 2D minus 3E. 2D minus 3E. Leave this here. Let's go by our normal process now. 2D times 3M will give you 2 times 3 is 6. D times M is DM. Now 2 times minus 4 will give you minus 8. D times N will give you Dn. We have removed this bracket. Minus 3 times 3 will give you minus 9. Into E times M is going to give us EM. Then the last minus times minus is plus. 3 times 4 is 12. Then E times N will give you EN. Now you are seeing the terms clearer because you have removed them from the brackets. Now what I want to do is Among the figures you have here, 6, 8, 9, and 12, they don't all, 9 has spoiled the show. Otherwise, we could have said that 6, 8, and 12 have 2 as a common factor. But 9 has no 2 as a factor. So what I want to do now is, let's group them. We're going to group them now. Group this and group this. I am partially trying to teach you the next thing we have in factorization, which is factorization by grouping. Inside here now, what do you have in common? What you have in common is 2D, because there is 2 in 6 and there is 2 in 8. That is D in DM, that is D in DN. So bring that 2D into, if 2D should divide 6DM, 2 will divide 6 to have 3 left. And 2D will divide DM, you will have M left. Minus, because if this should divide this, whatever you get will be minus. 2 divides 8 is 4. 2 divides D is cancelling. That means D divide DN, you'll be left with N. Bracket closes. The second, minus 9 and 12, they have minus 3 in common. EM and EN, they have E in common. Now begin to divide. Put your bracket. Minus 3 divided minus 9. You will be left with 3 plus 3, because minus dividing minus will give you plus. 3 divides 9 will give you 3. Now E divide EM. E will cancel E and you will left with M. Plus, because if you divide minus, if you divide minus and plus, you'll be left with minus. Minus dividing plus is minus. Now 3 divides 12 is 4. E divides EN. E will cancel E and we left with N. You can see that you have gone back to what you have originally. That means the factorization of this simply is what we did here initially. Bring out what you have inside the bracket, which is common. 3m minus 4n. 3m minus 4n that you have here, and also 3m minus 4n that you have here. Bring it out and bring what you have outside the bracket, 2d minus 3e inside the bracket. That is the factorization. Factorize p into 2m plus n plus 9 minus r into 2m plus n. If you look at these two gadgets, these two terms, discover that 2m plus n is common in both of them. So pick one of it. So we have 2m plus n. Open a bracket, then take the ones that are left behind. P plus Q minus R. Now you are going to remove this bracket so that you have a more simplified term inside there. Let's take 2m plus n, open a bracket, P. Use plus to multiply all the things you have inside the bracket. You have plus times plus Q. We leave you with plus Q. Plus times minus R. We leave you with minus R. That's the end of the factorization. This is the next we are going to factorize. Look into the two different items. We're going to discover that you have b minus c being common in both sides. Pick it. We have b minus c. Open a bracket. If you divide b minus c times 3d plus e, because that's what this means, by b minus c, you cancel b minus c and you'll be left with 3d plus e. you're going to have minus. If you divide this with b minus c, you cancel b minus c and be left with d minus 2e. d minus 2e. Now remove this bracket. If you remove the brackets, you have b minus c outside the bracket. Bracket opens, 3d plus e. 3d plus e. Minus times d will give you minus d. Minus times minus 2e will give you plus 2e. Close the bracket. We're going to collect like terms here. First of all, bring down b minus c, open bracket. 3d minus d will leave you with 2d. E plus 2e will give you plus 3e. This is the end of your factorization of this particular concept. This is the next we are to factorize. We have 3u into 2x plus y minus. This means what you have inside the bracket multiply itself twice. That is 2x plus y into 2x plus y. Now, in the two parts of the terms, 2x plus y is common in both of them, because you have 2x plus y here and 2x plus y here. There's another 2x plus y. So you pick one of it. 2x plus y, open bracket, begin to divide. Divide 3u times 2x plus y by 2x plus y. 2x plus y will cancel 2x plus y and leave you behind with 3u. Minus, bring down the minus, because after dividing this by this, whatever you have should be minus. 2x plus y will cancel 1 2x plus y and leave you behind with 1 2x plus y. 2x plus y. Some students used to make the mistake, when they get to this level, they will not put this bracket and begin to multiply whatever that is inside the bracket with the minus. They will just write it to be 3u minus 2x plus y, which is going to be wrong. You must demarcate this minus that is original here with the value you have here, because that minus is going to be multiplying out everything you have inside the bracket. Let's continue. We have 2x plus y, the one we have outside the bracket. Inside the bracket you have 2u minus times 2x will give you minus 2x. Minus times plus y will give you minus y. You have seen the essence of putting this bracket. You are going to use the minus to multiply everything. Had it been you did not put this, what will be left with will be 3u minus 2x then plus y, which is not the same thing with this, and is going to be a wrong expression. So the factorization has ended here to 2x plus y into 3u minus 2x minus y.